Hello again, and in today's Taekwondo lesson, I'm going to show you how to practice 4-direction punch, which is a fundamental exercise practiced by 10th cup beginners to prepare for patterns. There are 24 patterns in Taekwondo, and the first one, Chonji-tul, is practiced by a 9th cup holder and above. But a 10th cup beginner student will learn 4-direction punch as a preparation before learning Chonji. 4-direction punch is not one of the 24 patterns in Taekwondo, but it's very similar to a pattern. It has two movements, walking stance punch and walking stance out of forearm low block. If you've been following the lesson so far, you will know how to do these movements. But if you're not sure, then I suggest you go back and familiarize yourself with those techniques before practicing 4-direction punch. A good exercise to practice before you do the 4-direction punch is to go forward doing a middle punch and backwards doing an outer forearm low block. Now, a few things to remember. When you go forward to punch, get into a balanced position and relax, and then extend the opposite arm so you can pull it very sharply as you punch. And when you go backwards, try not to cross the arms too early. Get into a balanced position, then cross the arms a little bit later. And don't forget to move your foot in an arc, whether going forward or backwards. Move it in and out, as I've explained before. So that way you stay balanced. 4-direction punch, as the name suggests, is done in 4 different directions. So at some point you need to turn. And this is done when you go backwards doing the low block. So after the punch, you will go back and turn to do low block. So let's look at the footwork for this. In fact, let's forget about doing punches and blocks and just concentrate on the feet. You move halfway back and then you turn to drop back into walking stance. Avoid lifting the foot too high. Just hover over the floor, and you only need to go halfway back to balance. There's no point going all the way back. It's not necessary. Just need to get to a balanced position. Halfway is enough, and then pivot and drop back. This front foot, well, it's now the front foot, it was the rear foot, will pivot with the ball of the foot. In Taekwondo, we always pivot with the ball of the foot. So the heel has to be off the ground before it pivots to drop, okay? So when you go back, heel off the ground, so you get a good pivot and it helps to do the hip jerk, okay? So you go back and use that pivoting to initiate the hip jerk so you get more power on the block, okay? Now you can practice this repeatedly by stepping forward, then back and back, forward. Notice that the left foot will do all the pivoting and the right foot will do all the stepping. And just keep going round and then practice it the other way, where the right foot does the pivoting and the left foot does the stepping. Okay, you don't have to stop at 4 directions, just keep going round to get used to it. And then you're ready to introduce the blocks and punches. So when you go forward, you punch, and when you turn, you block. So practice it round and also the other way. And then you're ready to do 4-direction punch. You start from a parallel ready stance and you move your right leg first. So you get into a balanced position, step forward and punch, and then you turn and block. And once you get to 4 directions, you will end up here. To return to ready stance, you move the right foot because that's the foot that was stepping, and then you do it the other way. So this is what it will look like. So that's 4-direction punch. And there's another sequence that a beginner learns called 4-direction block. If you know how to do a 4-direction punch, it's very easy to learn the 4-direction block. So I'll show you that in the next lesson. If there's anything you don't understand or you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll answer them as soon as I can. So I hope to see you in the next lesson. Until then, goodbye.